Hey, you there? Welcome back to the channel. As we gear up for King of the Hammers 2025, we've been putting in serious work to prepare. Our last trip to Johnson Valley was such a success, we knew we had to head back. This time, we flew down for another weekend of practice and adventure in November, and it didn't disappoint. Let's dive into it. With our pre-runner buggy at Nacho's warehouse, we flew out on a Thursday morning to maximize our time in Johnson Valley. With Friday, Saturday, and Sunday set aside for trail time, we knew this was going to be a packed weekend. After landing at LAX, we grabbed our rental car and hit the road. Naturally, the first stop was Raising Cane's, because let's be real, who can pass up a place that only serves chicken fingers? With our American fast food cravings satisfied, we picked up a cooler to hold our food for the weekend and a few more supplies. After that, we arrived at Nacho's warehouse. Ricky greeted us at Nacho's warehouse, where we got straight to work on the pre-runner buggy. A little maintenance goes a long way, so we greased the axle shafts, dry shafts, and gave the chassis a thorough bolt check. Ricky, always a step ahead, had already charged the battery for us earlier in the day. Chewy was kind enough to lend us his camping trailer again for the trip, which made for comfortable accommodations. After a long day of travel and prep, we wrapped things up and got some rest for the big weekend ahead. Friday morning, we were up early to load the last of the supplies and hit the road. The 2-hour drive to Johnson Valley included an extensive fuel stop to top off everything. Buggies, RVs, generators, fuel cans, etc. You get the picture. Nacho was kind enough to haul a crawler out on the back of his tow truck, which was super convenient. One buggy on the deck of the tow truck and another on a trailer behind it. It's an awesome setup. Once we set up camp, the plan was simple. Hit as many trails as possible and keep sharpening our skills. We started with Turkey Claw, a solid shakedown trail to ensure everything was running smoothly before venturing deeper into the desert. Nacho's crew knows these trails like the back of their hand, so we were in good company. Our first big challenge was Sledgehammer, one of the most iconic Hammers trails. The plaque line, in particular, is notorious. It's a massive undercut rock feature that demands precise tire placement. Nacho led the way, making it look easy. With some tips from him, we tackled it without any issues. But then it was Aaron's turn. Unfortunately, things didn't go smoothly for Aaron. His front passenger side tire got hooked in an undercut, and the driveline stress was too much. The U-joint spat out its cap, causing the axle shafts to bind up and rip the upper ball joint clean out of the knuckle. The damage was brutal, but with an experienced crew like this, there's always a plan. We quickly assessed the situation. Nacho positioned his buggy to lift Aaron's front end up off the ground with a winch, and Ricky stabilized the rear since Aaron's brakes were out. We strapped the broken knuckle and tire assembly to the back of his buggy and carefully worked our way down Sledgehammer and back to camp. Back at camp, the real work began. Nacho thought there might be a spare axle shaft at the warehouse, but it was a 4-hour round trip we hoped to avoid. Luckily, Patrick from Death Proof Crawlers had coordinated with us earlier in the day and brought replacement ball joints and a U-joint. Nacho's team decided to repair the axle shaft on site. Chewy got creative, welding the ears back together using broken pieces found on the trail and even a piece of chain to complete the repair. Lots of cutting, grinding, torching, and welding took place. Everyone instantly saw the value in the awesome chase truck setup that Nacho and his crew have been building the last few months. It housed all the tools, torches, welder, and more to make quick work of the repair. The repair work went well into the evening. It was a big job. In the end, it took some serious craftsmanship, skills, and ingenuity. No one knew if it was going to hold up. The only way was to test it the next day. The next morning, we were joined by another friend of Nacho's, Caesar. Caesar had a cool 2-seat crawler and an awesome trailer setup. After getting a tour of the trailer, we started fresh with a shakedown run on Turkey Claw. Aaron's axle held up, so we headed straight to Jackhammer to test ourselves on another famed Hammers trail. Jackhammer is packed with massive boulders and requires constant focus. We got hung up once and needed Chewy to give us a yank with a strap to remove us from a large rock. We found another couple of spots with large pinch rocks that halted our progress. Nacho and Chad from Dusted Lens Photography were helpful at spotting us through these challenges. By the afternoon, we made it to top of the world, taking in the valley views before tackling Jack North. After Jack North, we headed towards Spooners as the sun set. Prior to our September trip, we had never night wheeled on the trails in Johnson Valley. We weren't sure if it would be intimidating or more difficult. Our Baja Designs lights did a great job of lighting up the trail. We're confident we've got a good setup on our KOH race truck. It has 2 BD bars, 1 roof-mounted white bar and 1 bumper-mounted amber bar. Once we finished up at Spooners, we decided to take on Boulder Dash and Big Johnson. It was great to knock off 2 more trails that were on our list. After a long day of wheeling, we called it a night and went back to camp. When we arrived back at camp, we were treated to a surprise pizza dinner organized by Patrick at Death Proof Crawlers. Nothing beats a hot meal when you aren't expecting it. Shout out to Patrick for taking care of dinner and to $5 Pizza Place for the good food. Sunday was our final day, and we made the most of it. We warmed up on Turkey Claw and Resolution. Resolution is an awesome trail, and it's not far from where Hammertown gets built on the lake bed. About halfway up, Caesar noticed his transmission was overheating. Chewy, Nacho, and Jose sprung into action and got things fixed up. It was a quick fix and didn't cost us any downtime. was time to cross the desert towards Chocolate Thunder, Idle Issues, and Her Problem. These trails are a lot of fun, and we ran all three in both directions to gain more experience. All three of these trails are kind of tied together, so you can make quick work of them, and it's not too far from camp if an issue pops up. After a group photo to cap off an amazing weekend, it was time to head back to camp and pack up. Back at Nacho's warehouse, we tucked the pre-runner buggy away, organized our tools, and said our goodbyes. Mike and I drove back to LA, grabbed a hotel for the night, and caught an early flight home Monday morning. It was another unforgettable trip. We can't wait to apply everything we learned as we continue prepping for KOH 2025. P.S. Aaron's axle shaft held up all weekend. Never count these guys out. Thanks for following along on this journey. There's a ton of work left to do, and we'll be sharing more updates here on the channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to let us know what you'd like to see next. See you out on the trails.